Hi guys, Adrian from Best Nutrition, and welcome to our very first question and answer video. Okay, so we're going to call this something along the lines of Ask Adrian Anything. I think we're going to go for. So I'm here with Louise today, and she's going to read out the questions. So Louise, as far away. First question.
So the first question is from Nicola from the Best Nutrition Inner Circle. Adrian, can you explain what carb cycling is, please, and whether you recommend it? It's a term I keep hearing at the gym, and I don't know what it means.
Okay, hi Nicola. Firstly, carb cycling is, there's many different ways you can do carb cycling. Carb cycling, the definition just means changing the amount of carbs you eat every day. So you might do, commonly, one that's done quite often is a low carb day, a medium carb day and a high carb day, and you'll basically cycle those through depending on your training requirements. So if today's a rest day, you might keep it low carb. If it's leg day or a really intense session, then you might want to go high carb for that day. The idea is that you're utilizing those carbs around the workout, so you're using those carbs to good use and you're restricting carbs when you don't need them. There are loads of different types of ways of doing carb cycling. You can also use it to manipulate your daily calories, so you can have like a slightly higher calorie day, a slightly lower calorie day, and the idea is just to give the body that the deficits that it needs to be able to reduce fat, but also give it the carbs it needs to build muscle and burn fat on the higher carb days. So yeah, carb cycling is very, very good for fat loss. I would highly recommend it. It can be a little bit tricky, but there are many, many different forms of it. You just need to find one that suits your style of eating and your style of training and go from there. Cool. Second question.
Okay, so Carla from the Inner Circle wants to know what foods are the best source of protein other than meat, fish and eggs.
Cool. So Carla, hi. There are loads of different sources of protein that you can go for. First of all, you can go down the dairy route. Okay, so you can start looking at your yogurts. Okay, I fully recommend Faj yogurt or Fahe yogurt, Greek yogurt. I also recommend Icelandic style yogurts. They're also very high in protein. Okay, you can also start looking at quark, Q-U-A-R-K. A lot of people that in the industry at the moment are going towards quark. Apparently, it's a very, very high protein source. I'm not really sure how you use it. I haven't really experimented with it myself, but definitely check that one out. You can also go down the cottage cheese route. Okay, so cottage cheese is very high in protein, very low in fat, so that's another good protein source. After that, you can start going down the protein powder route. So I really like protein powders for people that are struggling to hit their protein requirements on a daily basis. Bog standard whey protein is just a byproduct of cheese manufacture. So it's not gonna put loads of muscle on you, it's not gonna make you fat, it's just a way of getting extra protein into your diet. So I would fully recommend getting a whey-based protein. If you don't like whey-based proteins, there's plenty of other types of proteins you can go out and get. And what that will do is it will just bring down the amount of protein you have to find from other sources, okay? So if you need to kind of like have 120 grams of protein, if you have one shake a day, that takes it down to 100, which is a lot more manageable for most people. So protein powders. You can then look at things like tofu, and I want to say corn, but I'm not a big fan of corn, but tofu is a really, really good source of protein. And those are kind of your alternatives to your meat, fish and your eggs. Then you can start looking at your high protein carbohydrates. Okay, so high protein carbohydrates are things like lentils and quinoa. They are really, really good high protein carbs, but don't forget they are carb sources. Okay, so you don't want to use that as a protein source in a meal. So you don't want a load of quinoa and some rice on top of it, because you'll be overshooting carbs massively. So just be aware they are quite high protein carbs. That's another way to increase your protein content. Then you can look at your high protein fats. Okay, and your high protein fats, like your nuts, contain a pretty good amount of protein, along with loads and loads of healthy fats. So I would go down the nut route as well. So you got the dairy stuff, got your protein powders. Then you can look at your tofu, and then you can look at your high protein carbs and your high protein fats. So yeah, those are alternatives to protein sources.
Okay, so Emma from the Inner Circle says, "Hi Adrian, which are better, whey-based meal replacements or soya-based ones? Or should we aim to avoid both of these and opt for a clean shake, such as a pea protein-based or vegan one? There are so many options, thanks."
Emma?
Yeah.
Right, hi Emma. Great question. When I hear whey-based meal replacement and soya-based meal replacement, it makes me think of things like Herbalife, Juice Plus, that kind of stuff, and I would avoid that stuff like the plague. Basically, in real simple terms, it promises the earth, it's very expensive, and it is exactly the same as all the other shakes on the market. All they are doing is putting you in a calorie deficit, which is why people lose so much weight. So first and foremost, if you are thinking of that kind of stuff, I would avoid it like the plague. Secondly, don't like the term meal replacements. I don't like the idea of anybody having a meal replacement. Okay, so meal replacements are a bad way to create and kind of formulate an eating plan. Okay, I like my clients, I like my clients to eat real food. So if you're not eating real food at least 3 times a day, I would definitely not try and replace something with a shake. First and foremost, you've got to get your 3 meals in. You've got to be eating wholesome food, close to nature, and that's before I'd even start looking at supplementing with either a whey-based protein shake or a soya-based protein shake. When you do get your diet under control and you are looking to increase protein, like Carla mentioned, then I would potentially add a supplement. So I'm using the term supplement there, not meal replacement. So I would use a supplement of a protein drink to get the protein up if required, but it's not essential. So I wouldn't be wasting money on these supplements. I would try and get the goodness out of whole food. I would try and eat 3 meals a day, and then I would try and attack it that way before starting attacking the supplements. When it comes to the supplements, they're all much of a muchness. I'm not a big fan of soya products. I think there's a lot of soya added to stuff these days, so I'm not a big fan of soya products. But pea proteins, hemp proteins, your whey proteins, all your different types of your casein proteins and all that kind of stuff. Beef protein, you can buy beef protein shakes. All of that is completely down to personal taste. I only view it as protein. Okay, so I don't think anyone's got particular advantages over the other. Some people don't get on very well with whey protein, so they might be better off using a hemp protein. You could use a wheat protein. There are absolutely loads. So I would say just experiment and find one that you like and you like the taste of. First and foremost, you're the one that's got to drink it, So if you don't like the taste of it, then you kind of defeat the purpose, really. But don't buy anything fancy. If my clients are after a protein supplementation, I just go to a real bog standard whey protein, just got whey protein in it. It should cost you no more than £20-25 for a kilogram, and basically go from there. Don't like the term meal replacement, don't like the idea of replacing meals with shakes, don't like the idea of Herbalife, don't like the idea of Juice Plus, don't like the idea of Cambridge Plan, anything like that. Okay, so focus on real food first, then you can supplement with shakes if you want to, but don't get carried away. That's it. So is that all the questions? That's all the questions, yeah. Sweet, cool. So guys, if you want to have a question answered, then please head over to the Inner Circle. I'm going to try and do these at least 1 a week, and then basically get over to the Inner Circle. Link is going to be in the description above. Request to join. I'm going to put a message out there every week asking for more and more questions, and so if you want a question answered, then get in the Inner Circle and ask away, and I'll catch you all later. See you guys.